And it's like I wish that we just knew our, because we had so many things that was just simply destroyed, and it had nothing to do with black people being ignorant. The Freedmen's Bureau was destroyed. That was damn near our own banking system, almost our own government, and that shit was destroyed not because black people was ignorant. It was because that shit was working.
Then we start talking positive, we the problem. That's crazy to me. But I digress.
Venus, can I get in real quick? All right, so I heard a lot of what was said, and I really wish that we could all have a time machine and we could go back to like the 1920s and we could see how the Scottish people acted when they were in some of the same ghettos that a lot of black people were in. Like every culture that has ever been under those conditions of the ghetto reacted the exact same ways. These are facts. Every culture that was in these predicaments reacted the exact same way that we react as people. This is science. There was an experiment. I forget who the scientist was, but they did an experiment with lab rats. They put all the rats in one cage and they gave the rats everything they wanted. They got unlimited food, unlimited water. They got treated well. But the fact that all of those rats were on top of each other, they ended up killing one another. They ended up doing unthinkable things to one another because of the fact that they were literally on top of each other. When you put people in certain conditions, it's scientifically proven that you're going to get certain results regardless of the situations. I really wish that a lot of people who bash on black people could go to the Capitol and read the Constitution. Like go and read the actual book and look at how many of the laws that they had to X out. They put lines through laws that were specifically made to make us unhuman. Those lines are crossed out. They didn't erase them. They just crossed them out. When I saw that shit, I was like, oh, damn, this shit was real. So it's like when we look at us and we use that crab in the barrel mentality, we got to remember nobody wakes up and want to be a crab. Nobody wants to be in a pot. And when we tear each other down, even though, we all make decisions, we always got to ask ourselves why. Because I think we're really losing the plot when it comes to the why in these things.
And that's what I was saying about context. I'm not making excuses, but if you're going to pair the state of black people to let's say the state of white people, are you going to consider that they are the ones who are doing redlining, systemic oppression, fucking with the food in your neighborhoods, forcing you into unstable environments that affect your fucking psychology, affect the way you think, affect the way you behave, polluting your air, all of the fucked up shit? Are we going to acknowledge the conditions that black people have intentionally been placed under while they're trying to get ahead? Or we're going to ignore all of that and say the black people ain't shit? Which one?
And my thing, and the piggyback on that, what we have to do, we got to be careful when we compare ourselves to the other cultures, because again, how many laws had to be crossed out in the Constitution for all these other cultures that we want to compare ourselves to? There were no laws for a lot of these other cultures that we compare ourselves to that was specifically created to keep us back. There was no intelligence test that we had to march against in order for us to vote. There were no other, like, we got to remember, like, this shit ain't that far long ago. Like, your grandmother could remember having to take an intelligence test just to be able to fucking vote. What other culture that came to America had to deal with that shit for as long as we have. So I get a little bit offended when we look at some of the success that we do have and we just shit on it because it's like, young.
Me too. Because it's like they forget all that shit. How the fuck y'all can remember every bad thing a black person ever did, but y'all forget all the other fucked up shit all the white people done did?
And it's like,
go talk to your parents.
And it's like, to be honest with you, I believe that our government really waged war against black people. They rage. If you look at the laws and if you compare the shit to how they do in other countries, they wage war against us. Propaganda is a war tactic. The shit with the drugs, that's the shit they did to the Chinese back in the 1800s with the poppy flowers. That's warlike shit that they did on a population of people that's 13%. No other culture had these laws against them. So when we comparing ourselves to Asians, when we comparing ourselves, remember, there was nothing ever stopping them on the books.
Hold up.
It's nothing in comparison to how many laws we had against us.
You just pissed me off. You know how much shit the black people that went through in this country? Did we ever get a stop black hate crime bill? But you know who got to stop Asian hate crime bill immediately at the thought of some fucking danger, which I think was fake. I think them videos was fake. I think they did that shit on purpose so they could have an excuse to give them people that fucking bill. Yeah, but black people don't have no bill.
And it's like, I wish that we just knew our, because we had so many things that was just simply destroyed, and it had nothing to do with black people being ignorant. The Freedmen's Bureau was destroyed. That was damn near our own banking system, almost our own government. And that shit was destroyed, not because black people was ignorant. It was because that shit was working. We had thriving community. Everything that black people bash us for not having, we had a lot of that shit. We had it. And it wasn't because we was ignorant. It wasn't because all of these different things that we want to knock each other for that we lost the shit. We lost it through policy. A lot of policies destroyed a lot of our communities. Go look at the we want to talk about the media. Go look at what the Telecommunications Act in 1996 did to the black radio stations and the black TV stations. We had our own media. So we want to talk about our communities. Go look at what the railroad laws and the Highway Act, I forget the year. Go look at what that did to the majority of black communities in America. They build even to this day, they build bridges and they build roads and railroads over black communities.
On purpose.
What do you think that does to black businesses?
You better come through, Quan.
Come on now.
So that's what I'm saying. It's like we gotta remember why. Like, I get that we do it to us, but again, nobody grows up wanting to be a fucking crab. More than anything, to be in a barrel. Who made the barrel? Who sets the conditions? Because when you put every other culture in them same conditions, they act the same way. They act the same way. It's just that ours, we've been in it longer, and we were never accepted into white society.